Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope everyone is good. So I'm here actually in Cape Town at Crypto Fest 2019 happening at Minebest in Cape Town. And right next to me, I have a very important person from Minebest, Peter. I'm not going to try to pronounce his surname. He's going to have to pronounce his own surname. So Peter is from Minebest, and we're going to do a short interview to explain to us about who he is first and what mining is exactly and what they do in Minebest as a company. All right. So Peter, thank you so much for coming to Cape Town. This is your second time coming to Cape Town?
Second time.
All right.
Love it here.
All right.
It's beautiful
You
place.
like it? Okay. Would you come again?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Awesome. And then you're originally from?
I'm originally from Poland, so my full name is Piotr Pilczyński. It's a very complicated name, I know.
Right.
I always say to people whenever I was younger and I was somewhere at the hospital, for example, or school, whenever the teacher came out at the beginning of the year or a doctor came out and had to call a patient and he started to hesitate how to pronounce, I already said, yeah, that's me. This is such a difficult name. So that's me.
All right.
But
So
in English it's Peter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Born
Peter.
in Poland, and right now I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Business Development for Minebest. As you hopefully know, Minebest is like a very important strategic partner for Miningcity.
Yeah.
And what we are basically doing is we're taking care of the backhand, let's say, of the operations. All the basis on which Miningcity is built and the basis on which it earns money upon is done by Minebest via our mining facilities, right? So Minebest is, as we call it in marketing-wise, it's a technologically advanced infrastructure company, and we build, operate, and manage cryptocurrency mining facilities.
Wow.
Right? And Miningcity is, of course, our very much beloved and esteemed strategic partner that we work with very intensively. And so basically, what is mining, right? Maybe that's also one of the things.
Yeah. But just before you go there, like, what's your background like?
Okay.
I mean, what did you study, or what were you doing before Minebest?
Right.
Yeah.
So my background is I'm actually a lawyer by education.
Okay.
And I studied public international law in the Netherlands, where I've been living for a long time as well. Originally, I'm from Poland, but I've been living in different countries, and for a long time, I've been living in Holland.
Okay.
And my last occupation before I actually joined Minebest, roughly half a year ago, I was doing strategic consulting in IT. Right, so go-to-market strategies, and how to start new products or services abroad, for example, for a company, for an IT company, and so forth. Right? So this is my background, sort of in a nutshell.
Right. Okay. So and then you joined Minebest when?
Yep. I joined Minebest in early April, so beginning of April. So it's roughly half a year right now. And there was a whole new world opening up for me. I have to say, it's I knew about, of course, about crypto, and I've read about it, and being in IT, I was sometimes dealing with it slightly, but I was not very much involved with it before I actually started with Minebest. And honestly speaking, having seen the cryptocurrency world right now and the blockchain industry in general, I feel I've become a very big believer. I think there's huge opportunities lying ahead of us.
Wow, amazing. So what exactly is your duty in Minebest? What do you do? What do you spend your time on? Yeah.
So basically, I'm developing, let's say, the global network. I'm being responsible for our marketing efforts as well, for the events that we do. I'm also very much involved in supporting Miningcity, let's say, in their efforts, to market, to be seen, to be credible as a company. So this is, in a nutshell, again, going into detail doesn't make so much sense again, but in a nutshell, that's more or less the task that I'm taking care of within Minebest.
I see. So explain to us, like normally we say there's about 4 ways of getting involved in the whole cryptocurrency space. One is buying and holding onto it. The second one is accepting it as a payment. The third one is buy and sell. The fourth one is mining. And While the other ones are not so complicated to understand, mining is just so complicated to understand. So how would you simplify it to the normal people on the streets? What exactly is going on behind mining?
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to explain this exact question to a lot of people in Poland, for example, some of my friends that have never been involved in crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain whatsoever. But very simply, trying to make it as short, as simple as possible. Bitcoin is based on a proof of work mechanism. So the only way that Bitcoin can come into existence is via mining.
Okay, so now hold on. So I want to ask on behalf of a lot of people like me. Yeah. So what's a proof of work?
Okay, so it's basically what happened. Let me just explain what happened. Yeah. So basically, people are making transactions around the world on a daily, second basis. Let's say there is tons of transactions all the time going back and forth. Yeah. And what happens is all these transactions are added to the blockchain, to the entire chain, and each 10 minutes, roughly, there is a block being added to the chain. The block consists of a number of transactions which are put together for this block, right, on a chronological basis, and this block is being verified by miners. These transactions are being verified by different miners across the world, basically, to make sure that the transactions are correct, legitimate, that they are one-time transactions, that people are not using the same Bitcoin they have for different transactions, right, and cheating in that way. And this is what is happening. So after the verification of each block, there is something, I always find it slightly funny in a way. It looks kind of almost ridiculous, but there is an algorithmic puzzle to be solved, really, at the end. And whichever miner basically does the verification of the transactions and solves this algorithmic puzzle first is the one that gets a reward for that. And the reward is a certain amount of Bitcoin. And this is how a Bitcoin comes into existence. Because a miner has mined the block, has verified it, has solved the puzzle basically, has added the block to the blockchain, and has added also his own reward to the blockchain, which is currently 12.5 Bitcoin per block. And this is how, Bitcoin is basically growing, the number of Bitcoins. And as you know, the number of Bitcoins is a limited supply. There is only going to be mined 21 million Bitcoins altogether. We're roughly at 18 million right now. So your first intuition could be, all right, my God, we're almost finished. But it's not that's not the case, because every roughly 4 years or so, there is a halving, it's called. It means that the reward that you get as a miner for verifying the transaction and solving the puzzle and adding the block to the blockchain is being halved. So approximately in May 2020, the 12.5 reward will go down to 6.25. Okay, and this is what is happening. So in that sense, the amount of Bitcoins being mined is the speed in which Bitcoins are being mined is getting slower every 4 years basically, and this means that the amount of time it takes to reach the 21 million is getting longer and longer basically. Okay, so it's like this sort of. Okay, and this is why we know exactly how long it will take until we arrive to the 21 millionth Bitcoin, and this will happen in the year. And nobody of us will be alive at that point, I think, unless we freeze ourselves. It's going to be in the year 2140. That's when Bitcoin mining will have mined all the 21 million Bitcoins that are in supply. And this is what miners do. So they basically, you can almost say, they sort of act as central banks within a financial ecosystem.
In the cryptocurrency space,
but
in Bitcoin.
They are decentralized, so not at all like central banks, but they are the ones that bring Bitcoin into existence.
Correct. Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds so complicated, but I
try to keep it as simple as possible.
I understand. So this only shows that there is so much work going on behind. But now, for a lot of people, do I need to understand Bitcoin mining for me to make money from it?
No,
for average person
no,
like me.
You don't really need to understand. You know, what you need to understand is the mechanism, how this functions, how you basically need to see. Okay, if I invest a certain amount of money, what will I get out of it? You know, what's the ROI, basically? And again, this is more a question towards Miningcity as such, towards Greg, who is the CEO of Miningcity, who is dealing with these kind of issues. But roughly speaking, again, we cannot guarantee any ROI because it would be a false claim if we could guarantee it. And it's also based on Bitcoin rate and so forth, right? And the network size, the global size of the miner network, and the difficulty of mining, and so forth and so forth. There's a lot of issues here behind. But roughly speaking, you as an individual, you can see, okay, so if I put this amount of money in there, this is more or less going to be my ROI. You can check it on Crypto Compare, for example, which is a third-party supplier, and you can see how much it's going to give you. And based on that, you should just make your own calculations. You know?
That's all I need to understand as an investor.
I think that's all you need to understand, because the mining is a quite technical operation, really. You know, it's as you have probably seen on some of the pictures or videos, we have big pieces of land where we have a lot of containers which have the miners inside. There is issues like cooling, like maintenance, like security. It's a quite complicated and rather time. It's a very time intensive issue as well. So we try to support Miningcity as best as we can by anticipating future developments, by building up the capacity, by being there, by answering questions, by being transparent, showing you guys how our farms are. You've been there, you've seen how it works, and we are trying to support your growth by keeping up with the growth, basically, and doing all the operations and all the quite technical and tough work and strategic work as well, a lot of developing the base and the operations that Miningcity is thriving upon.
Amazing. Okay, so moving back to Minebest again. Who runs Minebest? Where is the office? How many staff is behind Minebest currently operating? Where do you see Minebest as a company going forward? How big, And most importantly, what's the vision of Minebest? Where do you,
Yeah. Well, so the founder and CEO is Eyal Avramovich. You know him as well. He's from Israel. Eyal started this business a few years ago. It started out quite small with like one farm for a private client in Kazakhstan, and then he basically took it from there, and things started to develop quite quickly at a certain point in time. Eyal originally is an inventor. He has invented a lot of very advanced technological things, and he sold a lot of his inventions. They are being used by big companies all over the world. You can check it out online. And so Eyal is a very visionary person. He's an inventor, so he has a lot of technical feeling, but he's also, he dreams big, right? So it is very much based on his vision and his courage as well to push things forward that we have become such a big and acclaimed company by now. Of course, Eyal is not by himself. It's supported by a whole bunch of people right now. We have our headquarters in Poland, and we have roughly 50 people working right now in the headquarters in Poland, in Warsaw. But we're expanding very strongly, very dynamically, and basically each month we're hiring about 10 new people.
Wow.
It's exploding right now, right? So these people all support the dream. These people all support, marketing issues, HR issues, technical issues, the system, of course, the IT system, the customer support for Miningcity. We are looking for a very big office right now in Warsaw because we're expanding so strongly. And so it's very much a company in constant development. That no day is the same. And I know a lot of companies claim this, but it's really actually true for Minebest. I've worked in different companies, and I can say this is the most dynamic company that I've worked in, I think, throughout my career. So what's the vision? Well, obviously we need to build up capacity because you guys keep growing so hard you know, and you're doing such a great job that we have to keep up, right? Because what we sell, we need to cover with capacity, with hatch power, and so forth, right? So we are building up facilities constantly. We're looking constantly for cheap electricity. One of the main reasons why we are becoming one of the top brands in the world right now in terms of mining, literally, is because we have access to very cheap electricity. We have good relations in Kazakhstan, and towards the end of this year, we will have roughly 150 megawatt operational already. That's already a very big amount.
So what would be what percentage of the hash power would that be?
Well, it depends on what the size of the global network will be at that time, but right now it's roughly about 80 etahash, which means that would amount to, let's say, somewhere between 1.5% to 2% of the entire global mining network. That's a big amount for one company.
7 months, yeah.
In roughly a year, let's say.
Yeah, I see.
Like a bit less than a year. And we have very, 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 very ambitious plans. I cannot disclose everything at this moment because we're still signing agreements, we're still negotiating, but there is a few very, very, very big new facilities coming up, likely in the first quarter of the next year, to support the growth of Miningcity mainly, and also some of our other clients.
Wow, that's so amazing. Yeah. So I heard one thing, I don't know if I heard it right actually, but what really got me very excited, one of the things that Eyal said is, it would be nice to have 51% of the hash power to the community, which in this case would be Miningcity community, and Minebest playing a big important role in making sure that giving 51% to the community. That's a huge vision, but very exciting at the same time.
That's a huge vision. I mean, you know, we're definitely striving to become a really, really, really big player, and it is happening right now. It's literally happening. So, you know, visions are always there to give a sort of guideline and a sort of target. If it's possible to approach that, it remains to be seen, of course. It's a very ambitious plan.
Right.
But we're definitely interested in becoming like a top global player, and we are already recognized almost everywhere, which is very important, I think, also for Miningcity members to see that there is a globally recognized brand that is actually credible and transparent and doing all the hard work behind, right, to make sure that, as you know, mining has had its historical problems, a lot of scams. We want to be transparent, we want to have the best electricity rates, we want to be a big player. We go to a lot of events to show ourselves because we want the mining industry as such to be perceived in a more positive way as well. So we want to support the growth of Miningcity by giving extra credibility and extra support in that way also to Miningcity. So the vision is there, the ambition is there. It's all up to you, Hannah, and your people as well, to make it true.
It's exciting. I've been involved for 4 years. I never felt this. You know, like every marketer says, this is the best deal, this is the best deal, but it isn't really that. It's what you guys are doing right now gives us so much confidence for the community. It gives us so much power in the marketing space that we're representing something real. It's not just like, just online. It doesn't really exist.
Exactly.
The ability to get to connect with you and know exactly the team behind Minebest is also a great opportunity. So thank you so much. So what is happening here? Why did you decide to be part of Crypto Fest 2019?
Well,
one of the things that you do as Minebest.
Yeah, what is happening here? It's a Crypto Fest right now in Cape Town, beautiful Cape Town. You know, it's all about location, as they say. That also goes for our mining facilities, but it also goes for events.
Right.
In this beautiful environment, there is a big crypto coming together here in South Africa. We felt it was great to be present here, to support Miningcity first of all in their efforts, to show our brand also to this part of the world because we haven't been here before, officially at least. And we feel that South Africa has a lot of potential as well for the future, and we are quite interested in what is happening in Africa, what is boiling here, in the minds of all these people, how they want to continue, how they want to go forward in the crypto space. So it's an investigative, supportive sort of mission, let's call it like that. And we're very happy to support. And as you said, I think very important to stress is, not just to say, yeah, we're the best, we're great, and so on, because everybody says that all the time. You know how it is. But I feel, and I've been to a lot of Miningcity events as well, predominantly in Asia, because that's our main market so far. And what I really feel, and it makes me really happy, as well as a human being to see this, is how grateful and these people are, and how much of a real family is being built, And this is really being strongly supported, I think, by people like, Eyal and Greg, who's the Miningcity CEO, and some other people as well in our organization that are there, meeting face to face, supporting these people, being happy together, giving rewards and awards and so forth, and just showing our faces. And I think we've built up a great community so far with really good people that are really interested also in supporting each other and having a good time as well, and of course making money, because that's what it's all about in the end as well.
Absolutely.
But I feel the family aspect, the community aspect is something that really distinguishes us from a lot of other players in the market.
Right, so this was your second time in Africa, and you just mentioned about you wanted to know what's happening in the African continent. A lot of people have this perception Africa is just one big jungle, there's also lions on the road, not much happening in the space and stuff like that. So what's your feel? I personally feel we need this more than anybody else, because our payment system, not everybody has a banking system. The unbanked people are more than the people that have banking system. But what's your personal feeling living in Europe, coming from Europe, looking at the event and everything? Yeah.
Right. Well, I think. Well, first of all, I think the awareness here seems to be very high, even higher than in many countries in Europe, actually, about crypto, right? The second thing that I would like to note is, Africa, I think, is looking at the Renaissance, and has a bright future, I think, in a lot of respects. And I think we should really support that and develop that as well very strongly. And if you said something that, the banking system is not so developed here as in some other areas in the world, exactly that's, for example, one of the reasons why Libra is aimed at mainly a lot of African countries, for example, right? Yeah, the Facebook coin, exactly. Because they see the potential here, they see the potential of, of an economy which is slightly crippled in that sense, let's say, and they see the potential of giving these people the opportunities to, be free economically and forge their own future, as we say in Miningcity, So I feel that Africa has a lot to offer. It needs support for sure, and the awareness is very high. And in South Africa, we are actually quite surprised, to be really honest as well, to hear that in terms of, for example, Google searches regarding Bitcoin and trading volumes here in South Africa, it's among one of the top countries in the world. So there is a lot of things going on here. It's brewing, but it needs to explode, and Asia is obviously very dominant in that respect, and they are very early adopters of this. But I feel a lot of the same development can happen here in Africa as well. So I feel there is a good future, and let's see how we can support this, as Minebest and you as Miningcity can develop this network going forward.
Awesome. All right. So is there anything else you want to say to the community? Until you see them next time, we have an event happening in October 25th and 26th. We're launching Miningcity in Africa for the first time. Eyal and Greg are coming. I know you won't be able to come, but you promise you're coming to Ethiopia for the East Africa Blockchain Summit.
Yes.
But is there anything else you want to say to the community that wish to be here but haven't get to see you in person?
Well, I wish I would have learned some words in one of the African languages right now. Unfortunately, I didn't yet. But I think that Hannah is a great person in developing the network. I've seen it. I've talked with her right now, and I feel that there is so much opportunity right now in the crypto space. Miningcity is really a community, and I would encourage people, be sensible, do your own research, let's see if it works out for you, but I feel that there is a great community that you can embrace and be a part of, And I would just encourage you to use that opportunity right now. You know.
All right. So thank you so much, Peter, for making time for
Thank
this
you very
one.
much, Hannah.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot.
You too.